For £5.95, eat as much as you can. Korma, bhajis, biryani and naan. Take spinach and lamb and have a sagwala and wash it all down with a few pints of lager. Don't have it so hot that it'll burn your lips, but serve it all up with a plate full of chips. For all this and more, just try the sea view. But remember, next morning, stay close to the loo. As you'll have seen from my own poetry, I'm not really a poet. The stuff I write is usually more like this. I used to keep God in a tin. It was a Golden Virginia tobacco tin that my granddad gave me. I used to keep it on the bookshelf in my bedroom next to 5 Get Lost at Sea. Every night I'd take it down, open it and have a chat with God. Then one day I got tobacco. And one day I got chicken pox. And I soon realised how boring it was staying in. And it made me wonder if God got bored in my tin. So I took him out of the tin and put him in the pocket of my jacket. That way he came everywhere with me, and because I kept my jacket in my wardrobe, I could still talk to him at night. God stopped smelling of tobacco and started smelling of my mum's washing powder. Then one day I was getting ready to go out and I couldn't find my jacket. I said to my mum, "Mum, where's my denim jacket?" And she said, "Oh, that old thing, you're getting too big for that. I thought I'd get you a new one for your birthday." "But where is it?" She said, "Oh, some people came round collecting for starving children for Ethiopia, so I gave it to them." "What good's my jacket to starving children in Ethiopia? And how could you do that without asking me?" "Haven't you got any homework to do?" she said. I found out which shop it had gone to, and I went to get it back, but they must have already packed it up and sent it, because it wasn't there. I was a bit upset at first, but then I thought, well, actually God would probably be more used to a starving child in Ethiopia than to me, because I was well fed and God's good at making food go round. I missed our chats at first, but then I met Keith, and I forgot about God. And I've got what comes next. And then one day, quite a while ago, I got friendly with a girl called Sue. And one day we were in Verdi's having hot chocolate when she started looking at me all intently. And I thought I must have cream on the end of my nose, so I went to wipe it off, but she said, "I've got to ask you, have you met Jesus?" I was about to say I used to know his dad when she said, "Only I'd love you to come to our church so I could introduce you." I thought I might as well go. So I went along and she introduced me to lots of people, but none of them was called Jesus. I thought he might be using a different name so as not to stand out, so I went round and sniffed a few, but no one smelled familiar. But I kept on going because they were nice people and I didn't want to hurt Sue's feelings. And then one day, the man at the front was talking about God being omnipresent. He said that means God's everywhere, in the sky, in the air, in the sea. And I thought, And the next day I went for a walk around the cliffs. And you know, he was right. God was there. I could see him in the clarity of the sunlight. I could feel him in the wind on my face. I could taste him in the salt of the spray. I could hear him in the crashing of the waves. I could smell him in the coconutty scent of the gorse. I was so excited, I couldn't wait to tell Sue. I rushed home and I phoned her. And I said, "Sue, I've met God round the cliffs." She said, "That's fantastic. And he smells of coconut." "Oh," she said. I kept on going to church, but I sat there feeling a bit smug. I thought, all these people, they've got it wrong. They think God's in church, but he's not, he's round the cliffs. I could show them the exact point. But as I was a relative newcomer, I thought that might be a bit rude. So I just sat there and hugged my secret to myself. It was a bit like having God back in my tin again. And then, one day, I was listening to the speaker. Well, I was only half listening because I was looking around the room as well. And across the room, I could see a man, heavily bearded. He was making coffee for someone who'd come in late. Next to him was another man with a shaven head and loads of tattoos. I'd watched him deal gently with a drunk. Just along from them there was a woman. You could see from her face she had a really hard life. But her eyes were shining. Her neighbour's eyes were closed, but her skin that had been so furrowed just a few months before was clear. Across from them sat two lads, who, although they've got their own health problems, help others in charity shops. And then there was the man whose wife was seriously ill, the girl whose intelligence and thoughtfulness can stay hidden if you don't look for it, the woman who doesn't say much, but when she does, you want to listen, the man and his dog who share everything, the drunk who every morning thanks God for a new day, and the woman who'd come into the warm just to sleep. And suddenly I caught the speaker's eye, and he's grinning as he tries to talk over the snoring. And I suddenly realised I'd been looking so hard I couldn't see. God was too big to keep in a tin. He was everywhere around me. He smells of my granddad's tobacco and my mum's washing powder. God smells of alcohol and dirty feet. His scent combines the honeyed sweetness of love with the sharp undertones of sorrow. A gentle fragrance of compassion tinged with the bitterness of grief. God's perfume is everywhere. We just have to sense it.